All right. This video is because people are asking about audio modulation, the audio modulation plugin, and we haven't put anything out about the audio modulation plugin yet because it's undergoing a major refactor for 426. But for the impatient 425, it does in fact work. It's just part of the refactoring that we're doing is we're making it a little bit easier to use. But to get an idea of how it works, I'm going to make this video. I'm going to try to go through it very quickly. This is the third-person template, so you can just load it up yourself. And I'm just going to activate the audio modulation plugin if it's not already active. So I go to audio modulation, I enable it, I go yes, I do know that this is beta, and I restart. And I look at a nice Ghibli background while it restarts. There we go. Now it's activated, and you'll see a bunch of new stuff in the mix section. Essentially, all the setup that I'm about to describe is going to be null and void because the setup's being refactored. So the setup's going to become an easier thing, but because it's a little bit involved right now. But yeah, so this is if you want to use it in 425 with the understanding that you'll have to redo all your work if you upgrade, if you update your engine version. So so yeah, I'm in the third-person template. We've got some in the starter content. We've got some audio, and I will be using that audio as an example. I'm going to add this background starter cue. I'm just going to toss it in my level, and I think that should work. So now I've got background audio. I'm going to add this music to my level too. Why not? We're going to keep it really simple here. So now we've got music and audio, and then let's add a cone. And do we have any cool material? Door material? Lamp material? Sure. So this will be a proxy for fire, because we've got this fire blaze loop. So we'll just toss that in there, and on this component I'm just going to add an audio component. Let's click the fire cue. I'm going to add an audio component with the fire cue in it. There we go. So now I save that. We've got built-in attenuation, so we're good there. Okay, cool. So now we have some sound sources, and we need to, mix them, essentially. So I'm going to show the vanilla approach at first. So let's create a little directory. We're going to call this my audio modulation stuff directory, whatever. Okay. And then we're going to add a couple of volume buses. So I'm going to do my fire bus. You can just like any other mix setup, you can categorize buses any way you like. We've got we'll call our ambience air bus. And then we'll duplicate, and we'll have our music bus. Okay. So now I've got 3 buses, and they're all volume style buses. They default at 1 as their initial value, which is cool. And they range from 0 to 1. As you can see, we're not going to do anything to any of this stuff here. This is going to leave it as default because that's just we're looking for the basic approach. And then I'm going to add a sound, control bus mix. So we'll do this as my we'll do default mix, and then we'll add some other mixes later on. But first, let's populate our mix with our buses by creating channels on the mix. So we'll create 3 channels, 1 for each of our buses. And we're going to add the ambient air one, the fire bus, and the music bus. And actually, let's rearrange these. So now, air bus, music bus, fire bus. Okay, cool. So, so now we've got a mix. We've got buses, but how do we connect the buses to, like, how do we associate it with our sound? So this is one of the things that's going to get refactored. So in 424 and 425, you will have to create a modulation settings object, and we'll call it air settings. We'll call music settings, and then we'll do fire settings, something like that. Okay, there. And so for each of these, we're basically creating a patch system. So we have to create an input to the settings. This is one of the things that's getting refactored. So air, we want the so this allows you to this is basically a multi-input, right? So multiple buses can control the volume settings on an object or a group of objects, right? So that's the idea. So in this case, we're going to have to say, okay, on my fire settings, I want the fire bus certainly. I want the fire bus to affect the fire settings. But I could also say that if there was an if I had a sound effects bus as well, the sound effect. Actually, let's just do that. We'll just create a sound effects bus. So we are FX bus. All right. So the sound effects. Sorry. The ambient air bus. So the air settings also are affected by the sound effects bus. Okay, and so then what happens is the value of each of these buses, as it's read off, gets some sort of mathematical operation. And so the default operation for volume is multiplying, because it's scalars. It's like 0 to 1. So we do a multiply operation. But you can change how that functions and how that works. So, and then on our fire settings, right, our fire bus and our sound effects bus could both impact. And this is one of the big differences. This approach is one of the big differences between the sound class, sound mix approach of the legacy system and what this is capable of. Because this could be anything. We could have all kinds of buses coming in to affect the volume. And that's sort of the power of it. Anyway, so we're just trying to do a vanilla approach. So the last thing we need to do is associate these settings with our actual content, our sounds. So I'm going to go back into my starter content, go to my audio. Right, we got our starter cue. This is our ambient sounds. And if I go down to the bottom, we've got modulation, and then we've got settings. Boom. And this is the air, so we'll use the air settings. And then my music. Oh wait, was that the music cue? Fuck. That was the music cue. So this is the music settings. I should just double check. See? There we go. It's the music cue. Music uses the music settings. This one, this is the air. Uses the air settings. And then the fire cue uses the fire settings. Okay, so now that's done. All right. So let's go to our level blueprint to just because we're just this is just blueprint. So we'll go. You'll just use the level blueprint out of convenience. We'll let it begin play. And on begin play, what we're going to do is we're going to keep it pretty simple, but we're just going to audio modulation. I'm just going to type in audio modulation first thing we want to do is activate control bus mix, our default mix. So we're gonna right away activate our control bus mix, and this is where we can call update modulator. This is another one of those things that's changing, but we'll just basically do that. Okay, so now our mix is applied. I mean, our mix is 1 across the board, so it's not anything special. But if we do stat sound modulators, boom, then we can see our default mix loaded with the ambient air bus, the fire bus, the music bus, and the sound effects bus, all basically not doing anything, right? So what we can do now is we can go into our audio modulation. We can load up this, and then if we want, we could just listen to this. I think this should work. We should be able to do this. Let's say ambient. Let's turn the music down. I think there. Let's re-update this. Music bus should be 0. What am I doing? What did I miss? Default mix, default mix. Default mix. Music bus should be 0. Did I forget something? Did I forget the setting? Music settings? Yeah, there, look. See, look what I did. I forgot this. So there we go. Boom. I forgot the music settings. Boom, music bus. This is part of why we're refactoring this. So in the future, you'll actually be able to plug a bus directly into a sound. And you'll skip this. And then we'll leave these sort of as like a patch system for like complicated interactions. So now it should work. Boom, right? Basically, when you make changes, you need to... So let's do this. So we'll do the ambient air is 5, and we'll bring the... let's do the music will start out as 1 because that's how that's the default, but we'll have it go down over time with a little fade. So we'll say I don't know, let's see, 0.3, but we'll do it over like 5 seconds. All right, and we'll just do it also fade all the fades. So every time it comes back, it's very slow. Every time it leaves, it's very slow. One of the things that you'll notice that we have fixed for the refactor is that this is actually rise time and fall time, but we're using this correctly in the refactor. So for 424, 425, the attack time is just the rise time. So whenever the value goes up, that's the time it takes, and when it goes down, this is the time it takes, instead of the effect taking place and the effect releasing. But that's going to be fixed. That I consider a bug. Okay, but here we go. Now our music volume slowly goes down over time. This is exactly what we want. Okay, cool. All right, and if we can still go over to our fire. We still hear our fire. Neat. Okay, so now we've got a basic mix. Now let's say we want to have a new mix. So let's create a new mix. Let's do a settings mix, right? This is like the user settings. So user mix, right? And the user mix is just going to be music and sound effects. So let's trash all that. We'll go sound effects bus and our music bus, right? Those are the two that we love to have for our user mix. And then what we'll do is we'll create a a little widget. So let's grab a little fucking user mix widget, something like that. All right, and let's see. We'll do something like I guess we'll just add a border like that, and we will take our brush and I don't know, let's do something like this, and then we'll make it you know, transparent, which looks cool. And then was that effect of background blur is really sweet, so we'll do that. Okay, and then we will add a slider. Oh, actually, let's add a sorry, let's do a horizontal box. And then in our horizontal box, we will have 2 sliders. Boop. And slider. Slider 1 and slider 2. And we'll call this the volume slider. We'll call this the... Oh, sorry. Let's call this the sound effects slider. And we'll call this the music slider. And both of these are going to be vertical. Vertical. And then let's wrap them in a size box. So I can just automatically control the size of these. So let's do a width of 75 and a height of, what are we looking at? Let's do 350. Okay. And then we'll wrap this one in a size box with the same settings. 75, 350. Okay. And then let's do these sliders, styles. So let's update the styles. So this will be, let's do 25 and 65. Actually, let's go 15. All right, that's nice. And then we'll go 15 and 65. So we got some nice thick sliders, or handles for our sliders. And then we'll just do it for the rest of them, because otherwise it's just going to get weird. This is something that I wish was a little bit different. This is sort of a bit of a thing to set up, but you know, whatever. I probably could have copy and pasted this or create a certain subclass. You know, it's just the way it works. The way it works, I guess. So let's give it a default value of 1 and 1. All right. And then actually, you know what? Let's also did I do 350? Let's do 300 and 300. And then we will wrap the size boxes in a vertical box. Wrap with a vertical box. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get some text, and we'll slap it right above. Come on. Oh, whoops. Above the, sorry. There we go. Not at the same, this is annoying. Go in the vertical box. And then above the size box. There we go. No. There we go. There we are. All right, this one will be, what is this? The sound effects. Boom. And then we'll get this centered. And then maybe shrink this to like, no, 18. Doesn't need to be that big. All right. All right, and then we will duplicate this because I don't want to recreate that. We will put it in that box and then up. Oops, sorry. There. And then we will call this one music. Boom. All right. Cool. Now, maybe a little padding. Sorry, this is just, some of this is just got to be fixed. So the size box. Let's give it 10. And then this size box, we'll give it 10. We'll give this 10. And we'll give this 10. There we go. We got this nice. Cool. Now we've got a little, sure, a little thing. Okay. Then we can shrink our border. We can even do this. Size to content. There we go. Boom. Okay. Now we look at our slider. And we go. On value changed. And then the other slider too. We want to on a value change for this slider too. On value changed. Okay. So now we've got the two events associated with changing our slider values, and then we're going to basically on what we're going to do is we're going to get our user mix. This will be our control mix, control bus mix. We should be able to set that to our user mix. Cool. Okay, and then we can do a validated get. Make sure that's valid. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we got to set it up for dynamic shit. So we're going to get our sound effects bus, and this has got to be a control. Oh, sorry, a volume control bus. That's the other thing that's going to be a big change. We've actually removed typed buses, so there's only going to be one bus type, which is going to make things a lot easier and a lot more flexible. Okay, and then this one will be, this is our sound effects bus. This is our music bus. All right, so this is the sound effects slider. The sound effects slider, oops, we will get. Always validate your gets unless you know for sure that it's valid. And then we're basically going to let's see, set let's do audio modulation. All right, we're going to create a control bus. Sorry, we're going to a mix channel. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a mix channel. And the mix channel will actually be the data that we use to update our set. What's it called? Audio modulation. I always forget. All right. So here's what. Oops. Control bus mix. No, it's not by name. Sorry. Audio modulation. This one. Okay, so what we'll be doing is we'll be taking this bus. We'll be creating. Let's do this. We'll be creating basically a variant. And so then we will be adding it to our mix, which will be here, like that. And then what we'll do is we'll do this. Boom. And there you go. So the other thing we need to do is we need to activate this mix in advance. So we'll do that on our level blueprint. So the mix is activated. But let's duplicate this for our music one first. There, and instead of the sound effects bus, we'll get the music bus, get validated, get, boom, boom, boom. Cool. All right, so now we'll do something like in our blueprints. So first of all, let's open up our level blueprint. We're going to activate, basically we're going to just do this. But it's going to be our user mix. And I think this is another thing that we're not going to be, that's different. I think the refactor also means we won't have to do this, update modulator. Okay, and then what we'll do is, let's get player input. And then we'll do something like input tab, something like that. So this will bring up our menu. And then we will create our widget. It's our user mix widget. Player, controller, I think this should do it. Cache this. Technically, we could do this in the beginning, so let's do that instead of on tab. We will create the widget. It'll just be sitting in the background by visibility. Okay, create widget. We'll call it user mix widget. Something like that. So actually, let's do that on begin play. We'll create this. Okay, and then created it. We are owning it. Then we just do a little get validated. So then when we press tab, we want to basically bring it to the screen. So viewport, add to viewport. We'll do that. That's the simple one. And then set UI. And this is where we could go with let's go with game and UI. So we can do both. But this is, this is a menu distinction. You don't have to worry about that much. Okay. Get player controller. And then the last thing we want to do is make the mouse visible. Mouse visibility. And this one, what is it called? Mouse set mouse set show mouse. I always forget that. Show mouse cursor. What am I? Oh, this is the there. Show mouse cursor, and then this is where the tab. We'll do a flip polygons. Who wants that? Flip flop. Okay, so first time we go here. The second time we get validated get. And then very similarly we will viewport widget. Viewport, I think this, not that. We don't want to remove all widgets. Oh. What do we got? Come on. I think I could probably, let's do maybe set game. What's it called? Set game mode. Set input mode. Game only. But I thought there was widget focus. Oh, that's not useful. Damn. I don't want to have to just delete it. Remove. Well, fine, we'll do remove. Damn it. Okay, we'll do viewport remove. Viewport remove all widgets. Fine. It's a little bit nuclear, but I just don't want to mess around with that. Okay. And then we will hide the mouse. This should work. What do you... Oh, yeah. This is a little bit cobbled together, but this should work. Okay. Tab? Now it's just music. See? Now it's just sound effects. So, yeah, if I go over to the fire, right? There we go. And so now I'm like, wow, that fire is way too loud compared to everything else. So then I can go in here, I can go to my default mix, and I can go, okay, pal. Fire bus value, we need to bring that down. Let's go 1.25. Okay. Boom. We've got a default mix. We've got a modest little fire. It's a little cone. You know, it's like a little campfire. There we go. We can bring up so the user can be like, well, I really like the music. Let's make that the loudest part. And there we go. There we go. And you can see our two mixes, the default mix and the user mix. And you can see here, oops, let's just go across the top here. You can see the impact each one is having on the volume, and you can see the final consequence. What is the mix consequence? The consequence is that our ambient air bus is at 0.5, our fire bus is at 0.25, our music bus is at 0.3, and our sound effects bus is at 0.5952. Right? So there you go. That's basically how audio modulation works in 424 and 425. or at least at 425, there might be some fixes. There were a lot of fixes that went in, just little missed things. It's because I'm using 425, so you should know this is just for 425 and 426. It's gonna be completely refactored, and any work you've done here is gonna have to be redone. But you know, it's whatever you want, I guess. Yeah, cool. All right, now we stop recording XSplit.